Hello again, everyone. So, first video back after having a couple of days away. My inspiration this time is this piece of ribbon. When we went to Glyndebourne to watch the opera, the organisation of it is such that they opened the gardens, beautiful gardens at Glyndebourne. It's out in the countryside in East Sussex. And you can go and you can take a picnic and enjoy the grounds, take a walk, all this kind of stuff. So we took a couple of chairs, a cool box with some fizz and a few nibbles, and we arrived about 3. So we had our fizz, we had our nibbles, took the stuff back to the car, went in for the first half of the opera. After the first half, there's what they call a long interval. So then we went to the restaurant and we had a lovely 2-course meal. And at the end of the meal, they brought this dear little box, little gold box, with some chocolates in, and it was all wrapped up with this ribbon. So brought the ribbon home, pressed it with my hair straighteners, and I thought, this is going to be my inspiration for a card today. A bit of a long preamble, but it was fun, and I do thank everyone who commented on the photos that I put on Facebook of Phil and I at Glyndebourne. Anyway, my plan is this. I have a fancy for putting a band of ribbon like this across my front panel of my card. I thought, I looked through my box of odd bits of sealing wax stamps that I'd done, and I thought that was a good colour and would go quite nicely. Well, this actually isn't a stamp. This one was made with this button. I went through my button box and fished out all sorts of buttons that had an interesting texture that I thought might work with a sealing wax. So I think this one is the one of the glue sticks for my hot glue gun. So I have a fancy for making. I'll show you how I made this to put on there. Put this on, and I thought I might like to have a couple of little sort of, tabs coming down like this. I'll cut the other end off. That on there like that. And I thought I'd do a nice little, mount for the back of it. So, fished through my border embossing folders. Got a whole bunch here, and this is the one I've actually chosen, and the reason is it's an old Cuttlebug one. It's called Ditsy Dots, and because when this button is pressed into the wax you get all these dotty things, I thought that would be an ideal thing as a backdrop for it. I've got another one here, and this is the one I thought I would use to start with. I tried putting the ribbon across it just to see how much would be obscured, and with this one there's just kind of a possibility that the tiny sides of some of these dots might show. So I was going to use that one. I looked at this one. This is hearts, but it's only half a heart or whatever with that one. I don't think that one would work. Got one a couple of lines or 4 lines of text. Script, should I say, and again bits of that kind of show either side of the ribbon, so that one was discarded. And when I came across this all over random little tiny little dots, I thought, yeah, I think that will kind of do. So I'm going to put this away for the minute. I did just put my heat gun on so that it's warming up. Don't know if it's ready yet. I think it might be. Let's see if we can do the seal with my button. Okay, let's put some into one of these. Not quite sure how many I used. That might be enough. I don't know. Let's just see. Pick this up with some tweezers because this has got holes in. If hot wax came up through the holes, it could burn my finger. So let's just see if we can do this. There we go. Okay, I'll leave that a few minutes just to set. while I sort out this. Now, this is, I've got my trimmer out to measure how wide it was. And when I put it against there, it looks like it's about 3 centimetres. So if I cut a piece of card just a tad wider than that, I should be able to do a bit of scoring either side to make it look kind of finished. I'm going to turn that off, as that seemed to be all right. So I've got a piece of scrap here, and I think I'll cut it at about 3.5 centimetres. Let's see how this works out. Okay, let's just take a look at the embossing folder against that. I think that should be just about right. Now, if I want to score down the edge of here, someone commented the other day when I did some of this, oh, they laughed. I had to laugh. She had to go and get a scoring board when she could have scored on her trimmer. Well, I'll just show you the reason why I did get a different scoring board for this particular technique. If you look at that groove on my trimmer, if I were to use the scorer, which is this black one, I would get a very narrow, sort of thin looking line. This board is a Crafter's Companion top score multi-board, and the grooves are much, much wider. Can you see? So I get a very different sort of edge. I think it was my fault I didn't explain why I was not using that to score. I wasn't just scoring. I was trying to get a specific scoring effect, which is why I used the wider groove. And this is one of the only things I use this board for now. I used it a lot when I first had it, but I wouldn't ever get rid of it because it makes brilliant grooves for the edges of panels like this one. Okay, now I need to emboss this first, because if I try and score it first and then emboss it, well, I could actually, because that actually won't affect the sides, will it? Because it's, let me try. I'm just going to change my tune. I will try and emboss it first. What shall I use? Let's find a skinny. Let's try this chap. Now I want to get it just on the edge of the groove. If it doesn't work, I'll have to do the scoring of the edge afterwards. It's quite tricky just to keep it at the edge of the cut. I'm going to have to shorten this, obviously. Right, this one side. This actually might help to keep that centralised, mayn't it? Do you see what a lovely rounded shape that gives? It's brilliant. Okay, let's do the other side. Here we go. Yeah, because it's hanging out of the embossing folder, it should stay as is. Can always go over it if not. Oh, I'm sticking to this. It's been very warm in this country this last few days. We're not kind of used to it all. Right. Let's take a look at that. Do you see? Just kind of finishes off this. Now, if I emboss this chap here in the centre, you see that extra 0.5 centimetre was just about right, wasn't it, for the width of this? Now, I don't want it to move. Right. Well, you have to excuse me a moment while I just try and emboss. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on, I think, just to keep it in position. The trouble being, with my Spellbinder 6, Platinum 6, the embossing plate is opaque. I can't see through it, so I can't see whether the whatever I'm putting through has moved. so I need to be careful. Can't even see the plate. Here it is. Right. Apologies for the noises off. Right. Here we go. Let's have a look. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That is lovely. Oh, I'm pleased with that. Oh, I'm having a moment. Oh dear. Right. Now, this is obviously too wide for my panel. So I'll choose a nice bit of it, I think, which should be that bit there. Okay, so I'll just... let's cut this bit off. Now it should be... how wide is this? Let's just see. That is 9.5. Okay, 9.5. There we go. Hope I've measured right. There it is. That looks upside down to me, isn't it? Silly. Right, there's that. Now, the next thing would be my ribbon. And I need to decide if I want it to go round. I think I want it to go around the whole thing. So let me stick this in first of all. Use a bit of my ATG gun. We'll stick this onto... oh, that way. That's the way that looks right to me. Isn't it silly? Just a slight little thing like that and it looks different. Okay, that is on. Now I'll put some of this on, so a little bit more adhesive on the back. And we'll put my ribbon on. It's a bit of a kink there. What the hell are we doing? I thought I'd ironed this. Right. There we go. Oh. Put the glue too low down. I don't know what I was thinking. What a silly woman. Oh dear, there we go. Let's try again. Yeah, I bet somebody was noticing that as well. People are very observant, I have to say. Really good. Right, let's put this round. There we go. Now cut the bit of this off. Right, now I fancy having just a little one of these kind of things. Do you know what I mean? About like that. Where's this? I'll put the new one on. That's not quite long enough. Down a bit more. I think that'll be all right, don't you? So if I just do... oh, that wasn't very good, Christine. Try and do it properly. There we go. I do keep scissors especially for ribbon. So those are to go like that. So I think I'll put a couple of little glue dots there. These are my tiny ones from... let's put one on the ribbon going across. Okay. Now let's take a look at the one we just made. Probably should have taken it out a little bit sooner. Ooh. Come on. should have put some hand sanitizer on it first. I shouldn't have waited so long, because the little bally things are probably a bit bigger on the inside than they were on the outside. Let's just give it a bit of help, shall we? Here we go. Oops. Come on. Might have to do this again, mightn't I? Could use that one. Shouldn't have left it so long. But I was thinking with sealing wax, you know, people say they put it on envelopes and stuff. How would it manage in the mail? But as you saw, it is really quite flexible. So there's our new one. I don't know if that is the same one at all. It's not, is it? It's not quite the same colour. Perhaps that this one was, I've got some pellets. Perhaps it was that one. But anyway, that's not the end of there. So there's our little adornment. I think I'll put another bit of glue dot behind. And I put several glue dots on this one to mount it on there. So I think probably just a little word of maybe congratulations or something. I think that looks a little bit, you know, post-exam sort of thing. But there, just a quick card using up some ribbon from a little box of chocolates. It'll be a memory for us anyway, for a very, very nice evening for Phil's birthday. So as ever, hope you've had a bit of interest in what I've been doing, and thank you so much for watching.